Cue Dave and Ryan in 3, 2, 1.
It's Dave and Ryan's movie review.
Sponsored by the Plan Z Diet.
All right, so now we're going to talk about the movie The Gorge.
Gorge.
This one was on Apple TV, and after we watched it, I mean, we're going to get into it here for just a little bit, but after we watched it, you and I both talked about the fact that it was just a different movie. And we'll talk about that here coming up in just a moment. The Gorge, it's on, as I said, Apple TV, about 2 hours, just over 2 hours, not too bad. Not too bad of a runtime. Stars Sigourney Weaver, Miles Teller, and Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yes.
And you know something, fun fact I found out about her, with a name like that, you're like, oh, she's from, Sweden or Norway. No.
She's English, isn't she?
No, she's American.
Is she?
Yeah. Run with it, I guess. So anyway, Anya Taylor-Joy and Miles Teller are snipers, elite snipers.
Yep.
And they are both hired to guard the Gorge.
The Gorge.
The one you get most of the detail from on what's going on is the guy that plays Miles Teller takes. When Miles Teller gets there, the guy's been waiting. They're going to work in 1 year shifts is what it is. So when Miles Teller gets there, this guy meets him, tells him, you've got an armory, you've got a vegetable garden, the woods are full of animals and stuff. You won't have to worry about eating. You have a water retention and treatment and all that stuff. So everything as far as that is taken care of. You do radio checks once a month, and that is the only contact that you have with the outside world.
Yep.
Now, you can't have the towers that they're in are across from each other, but you can't speak to the other person.
No, because there's no way around it, because there's landmines, there's auto torrents. Basically, you stay in your area. You stay in your lane.
It's a very well-fortified area. The other thing about it is it's not visible from, like, Google or Earth or anything. Nobody knows where this is.
They have special
cloaking,
they call it, but it's basically like radar blocker or whatever.
And the other part about it too that I found interesting is that they don't know where they're at.
Nope.
They are not told what part of the world they're in.
He did figure out they were somewhere in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah, because the weather was the same and the seasons and all that stuff was the same. So they go through, and about a month goes by, and Anya Taylor-Joy decides that she wants to try and get in touch with him.
Well, before she went there, she met up with her father after a mission, and her father had, it was prostate cancer?
I think it was, prostate cancer.
And so basically he didn't have long to live, so he was going to end his life on February 14th of all times. And that, I believe that's right around her birthday.
I think so. It was close, yes.
And so she goes in they start communicating with like whiteboards and stuff like that, and then she just like stops, and he can see that she's just
going through some
emotional stuff, and finally they decide to meet. So if you watch the trailer, this won't give it away. He kind of zip lines across, and then on the way back, that's when something happens and he falls in. I won't tell you what's in the gorge, but there are creatures down there, bad creatures. And so when they're down there, they're basically trying to make their way back up. There's a rope that they need to get to, and they end up getting back, but not before they discover
what the
whole gorge is about. Evil businesses.
Very much so.
Sigourney Weaver.
And that's what I said. Oh, Sigourney Weaver plays such a good villain in this one.
She's not in it a whole lot.
No.
But the way her character ended up was kind of
justified.
Cool. It was kind of cool to see.
It was justified. It was all right. So, there's a lot that we can't talk about because the majority of the film, once they're in the gorge... I think we can tell you that much. Once they get in the gorge.
Yeah, well, in the trailer, you see him fall.
Yeah.
And you see her jump in. So you know they end up in there. But we can't really tell you what's going on in there without giving everything away.
That's right. So that's what the probably the second act of the movie is about.
Yeah.
Is them finding out what's going on and then trying to get out.
Yeah. It's when they were in the gorge, it reminded me a lot of like Silent Hill meets Resident Evil type of, like just the feel and the atmosphere. That's what it was like.
Yeah, it is actually. That's a good way to put it because it's all. At that point, is it fog or mist?
Yeah.
Or is it both?
You don't know.
You don't know, and you don't know what lurks in the fog or mist either.
Lurks in the fog.
So the second half of the movie is them kind of tracking down what has happened in the gorge, what went on there, and then how to get out of the gorge.
Yeah.
So then the thing about this movie is it's hard to like pigeonhole this in a genre because it is there is romance involved. Okay.
Yeah.
There's action.
Yeah.
There's espionage.
Yeah.
There is sci-fi,
thriller.
and I mean, there's so many things.
I would say this is an action thriller suspense movie.
Okay,
That's what I would classify.
that's what
as.
you'd classify it as, but that's what I'm saying. You could pigeonhole this in so many different places.
Yeah.
this
Well, like
movie.
with the romance side, it's there, but
You knew it was gonna happen anyway.
It's not the main focus.
It's like when the movie started, you knew it was going to happen.
Happily ever after ending. If you're expecting that, it may not happen.
It's like you look at these two, and they're like, these two are too good looking not to hook up in this movie.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney just takes it right out of you, doesn't it? So I'm going to give this one 3.5 buckets of popcorn. I liked it. It was a good afternoon. My wife sat there and watched it with me, and she kind of went in and out of the room while I was sitting there watching it. She goes, "Well, what the parts of it that I saw I liked." So, but I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's a good time. 2 hours, like I said, a pretty good runtime. Interesting movie, and they're already talking about the possibility there, and there is if you watch really close, and I guess if you do a lot of, if you do a long reach, there is the possibility of a sequel.
Yeah. Yeah. I like this movie. It was a great change of pace, compared to those like 4-hour movies that we kind of are starting to get used to. Good storyline. It's, I thought Miles did a great job, in this, because he was the main character in it. So it focuses around him. Yes, she's in it, but she's not the main character. I would say. Would you agree?
I would agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought he did a really good job. She also did a really good job, but and Sigourney Weaver did a great job. I'm going to have to give this one 4.
You're going to go
4 popcorn buckets.
little bit above. So like I said, it's a great movie. And the other thing that when I got done, when I came in and we started talking about this movie, that's one thing I said. I said, it's an interesting story. Because it's a story that you kind of heard before. But it's a little twist.
Horror video games, then it's not going to be an original story. But for those of you who don't, like me, there are like I said, the Resident Evil and Silent Hill type of games and movies. That's what it kind of felt like. So it does, but it doesn't for some people, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying. Maybe I'm just talking out of my butt.
No, I got you. Yeah, because it's very Resident Evil-like.
Yeah.
The parts of it that were, and Silent Hill. That's a pretty good mashup, I would say. The environment is Silent Hill, but the source material is kind of Resident Evil. Let's put it that way. All right, so go check that one out if you've got Apple TV. The Gorge. Rated PG-13. It's on Apple TV now. All right, so when we come back, it's the moment we've been waiting for all year long. The envelope, please.
Envelope.
So we're going to talk Oscar picks in the next 2 segments here on Dave and Ryan's Movie Review, brought to you by the Plan Z Diet.